That's what I wanted to do. Welcome back to Signals on 91.3 Lagos Shocks. This morning we'll go straight to they set me up. We're talking the people, governance, and the law. I have with me I don't even know where to start from, but I'm going to do it one way or the other. It was born correct me, it was born at Ajawa, Ogoluwa LG, local government of Oyo State.
Yeah.
Ajawa.
Yeah.
Good. Over 3 decades ago, it was called to the Nigerian bar in 1990. He worked as a junior counsel in 2 separate law firms before he joined his colleagues to form the partnership of Ode
Odokpolo and Adebi.
It's all right.
Yeah.
And from where he pulled out to form his current partnership, Adebi and Adebi Legal. Adebi and Adebi legal practitioners with his wife, Florence Adebi, in 1997. He's the chairman and CEO of Mercyland Estates Limited, a real estate and property business. Is vast in all property matters and all forms of documentation. Is also a senior pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and is married to barrister Florence Olabisi. They're blessed with godly children and many spiritual children. With me in the studio is Chairman CEO Mercyland Estates and also principal partner of Adebi and Adebi Law Chamber, Michael Oluremi Adebi. Welcome to Signals.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then, so please.
Yeah.
We're talking. So our questions are into 3. We're going to talk about the law. We're going to talk about property. We're going to talk about being a pastor. Like, remember what I said? I just said somebody shout hallelujah in my his voice. Okay, then. 30 years as a member of the Nigerian Bar Association. What has changed in the practice?
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak out. Okay, 30 years in the bar, what has changed? The Nigerian Bar Association has evolved over the years. And in the last 30 years, there have been so many improvements. For example, when we started, there's nothing like the seal, the MBA seal that we use now. Anybody can prepare anything and put a lawyer's name on it. But right now, we have MBA seal, which shows that, okay, you are a qualified lawyer, and that you are a barrister of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. That's a great improvement. With that, a lot of fake lawyers, let me just use that. Let me just use that language.
Yeah.
Permit me. A lot of fake lawyers have been caught out of practice. Also, the caliber of the people we have running the MBA now, especially the last administration led by Barrister Kweta, they have done very well and putting a new face on the MBA. So, and when we started in those days, junior counsel are usually tutored, and we don't really mind how much you are being paid. Or yes, all you wanted to get is get the knowledge, get the training. What has changed? Things have changed. when it comes to remuneration for lawyers, I believe younger lawyers nowadays are more interested in what comes to me, how much do you pay me, than really sitting down to gain the knowledge. And I always tell the younger ones coming after us that, look, it's better you gain the knowledge. Don't put money first. Gain the knowledge. Once you have it, you have everything that can generate money for you. What has changed? I believe law practice today, we can actually bring in a lot of improvement into it. In those days when we started, these days when you file a case, and for years you might not have even gotten to trial. Adjournment today, adjournment tomorrow, here and there, and then many of us became frustrated then. But I believe by the grace of God, I mean, the judiciary, especially in Lagos, has greatly improved. Cases are heard faster, although not yet at the level that one wants to see it. I want to see a situation whereby you file a case today, and we are talking about you've gotten judgment delivered maybe within 6 months and 1 year. So we need improvement in that area. I can go on and on and on.
So we're talking the people, governance, and law. Do you think that for all of the cases you have seen all through 30 years, right? Do you think people have gotten justice? Because every time we say the layman on the street cannot get justice, what do you think?
All right. Thank you so much for this question. Do I think people have gotten justice?
At different levels.
At different levels. That's a big question. That's a big question. Facing the reality, I love talking reality.
Yes.
The reality is, as it is today in Nigeria, the laws are there, but enforcement of law is still not there the way it should be. I'm talking about approaching the court. I'm talking about justice.
It's big.
It's a very big one. You can look at it from different angles. Talking about justice, criminal justice. Criminal justice, can we say the masses are getting justice? To me, I would say no. Because the way I see it, I mean, let's just be frank.
Yes.
The way I see it, that there are 2 sets of rules in Nigeria. Yeah. One for the very rich, one for the powerful, and one for the activists, yes, thank you. Another for the poor people on the streets. For example, a man will be alleged to have stolen a goat. I'm just using that example. And within 2 weeks, he's in the prison. Case heard, judgment delivered. And someone will be alleged to have stolen billions. And you are there. In the next 10 years, you are still on one application or the other, judgments being denied, and it's common.
So would you say that the law favors the rich, the powerful?
Well, it's not supposed to be, but that's the way it looks to me today in our society in Nigeria. But it's not supposed to be. The law is supposed to take care of everybody in the society, irrespective of your status, irrespective of your background, irrespective of where you're coming from. The law is supposed to be the law. But facing the reality and talking as a Nigerian, as a common Nigerian, we are here together. Yeah.
Okay, there was this recent case of Iniebi F. Young, the woman rights lawyer who was arrested in court and sentenced to a 1 month imprisonment in Akwa Ibom for defending his client. Though it was alleged contemptuous act, but the recent chairman of the NBA said the association will also resist all attempts to be intimidated. Does this mean that there are attempts to reduce the confidence in the profession? Now the guy was brutally.
Well, I won't say that's an attempt to reduce confidence in the profession.
Okay.
I was not aware of what really transpired in the courtroom that day.
Contempt. The lady said, the judge, not the lady, sorry,
Yeah.
the judge said evaluated contempt of court.
Yeah, that they committed contempt of court. I mean, I don't know how he addressed the judge. I don't know what transpired between them. All I heard was that he was sentenced for contempt.
What's contempt?
Contempt is, let me just say it in a layman language, being rude to the court. And or not obeying what the court says you should do. Sometimes you are in court as a lawyer, and the judge is trying to say, okay, can we go this way? Can we look at it this way? And you feel, no, this is the way it should be done. Your lawyer is the judge. He's sitting there holding the power. Okay? And you want to make a point. Okay? So, content is that, let me just put it that way, is being rude to the judge. So, in this instance case, I don't think it goes in any way to reduce the confidence in the judicial system. It depends on each case, and it depends on what happens. The only thing I saw that is brutal in this case, that when he was taken to prison, they forcefully, I mean, shaved his hair, shaved his beard, he was rough-handled. That should not be. Talking about getting justice, especially to a lawyer. And when I say especially to a lawyer, that honor should be given to him. He's not a criminal. So if somebody is cited for contempt, and they just say, okay, I cannot forgive you, you have to go to court, to prison, that person has not committed a criminal offense. It's just something that came out of relationship or altercation between him and the lawyer and the judge.
Now, fine. You know, most times for a lot of people, now, as regards, people get, however wrong or right the situation is, people also get, when they get to positions of power, they become drunk. Now, in the justice system, in the judiciary, how do we mitigate that? Where people, for example, a judge is that, yes, I have the power, but then we become power drunk. How do we address that?
Okay, people say power corrupts.
Yeah.
And absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And I believe it's in the process, in an attempt to prevent that we have the executive, okay?
Yes.
We have the legislature, and we have the judiciary. Is in order to be able to put a check. For example, the legislature is there to checkmate the executive, okay? And the judiciary is there to checkmate both the executive and the legislature. Going back to what I said at the beginning, that is still not the case in Nigeria today. Especially we have so many political cases. So many political cases that you as a lawyer will be wondering, how did the court arrive at this kind of a decision? There have been cases decided by the Supreme Court and will say, okay, we'll give you the reason for why we decided that way. Let the man just go and continue to be the governor. And people say, what? How can that happen? So, I'm looking forward to a nation where the executive will know its limits, where the legislature will be allowed to perform its duty, where the judiciary too will be allowed to perform its duty. And what is the way out? Let the judiciary become autonomous.
The centralization of power.
Yeah. Let the judiciary become autonomous. Let them run on their own. They shouldn't be going cap in hands to executive, give us money, increase our salary, do this. The judiciary should be independent. The legislature should be allowed to perform their duty, not be induced in any way by the executive. And whoever is coming into the executive position should have an eye there. What do I want to go and do in government? It shouldn't be seen as a family business. The one going, becoming executive should know, okay, this is what I want to go. And I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be just to all. If that is done, I believe we will see a saner society. A society where the rule of law is enforced, respected, and obeyed.
Now, away from law, we'll come back to Nigerian law, and we look at you being the chairman and CEO of real estate property. Now, lands are very expensive. They say it appreciates, but sometimes for some people it depreciates. Tell us your journey into that.
Thank you so much. Well, let me quickly say something.
Yeah.
Land doesn't depreciate.
Okay.
That's why we have this common saying. Don't wait to buy land. Buy land and wait. What's the simple interpretation of that?
Explain.
The simple interpretation is when you have opportunity to invest in property, especially in landed property, utilize the opportunity at that moment.
But then some say there's no money.
And wait.
Okay.
After some time, that investment will yield good returns. Okay? Land doesn't depreciate. It depends on your source. It depends on where you are getting it from. It depends on whether you do your due diligence before you put your money on it or not. For example, if you put your money on government land,
I was about to ask that.
if you put your money on government land that has not been excised, land that has not been released, and land that has been earmarked for public development, social development, and you didn't check well, and you put your money there, that money one day will be lost. Because government may wake up tomorrow and say, okay, fine, this land was earmarked for hospital. Now you have put your personal house there, it has to go down. And you won't have any defense. So, the only thing that is real, the only investment that is really real is investment in real estate. Why do I say that? For example, if you put ₦1 million in land today, in the next 2-3 years, your ₦1 million will not still remain your ₦1 million. You must have gotten some good return on your investment. And I'll cite an example. We have some properties in Ogun State that we've been on it for about 4 years. When we started 4 years ago, that land was selling for 600,000 per acre. An acre means 6 plots of land. Today, the same land is being sold for 1.5 million naira per acre. You couldn't have put 600,000 in the bank in the last 4 years.
No way.
And today, it has turned to 1.5. It's only with landed property you can do that.
So the question is, they say real estate is the new oil, right? And people are also very skeptical about locations. They say that some lands, in some places that in another 20 to 30 years, civilization might not get to the place. So, and then there's the issue of documentation.
Yeah.
How people are able to get proper documents for their land so that they won't come again. The government, as usual, will not come in their power. So,
okay, I have a saying that there's no bush anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain.
There's no bush anywhere. What you are calling bush today, will turn to a city tomorrow. Where we are now, where I'm talking now, this part of Ikoyi, used to be in the wilderness some years back. But today, what do you have?
The city.
So I always tell people there is no bush or wilderness anywhere. If you have checked very well, if you have done your due diligence, and the land is free, it's not committed, and you can put your money there as far as it may be, put your money there, go and secure it, and go and wait. I'll give you an example. The very first plot of land we had in Lagos was then in one part of our area. The year we bought that land, there was heavy downpour. We had to use canoe to enter into our area. When we got that land, sometimes I will go and see my land and I won't be able to locate it.
Huh.
At a stage, I put a sign that after I've wandered in the bush, I will be able to locate it. Okay?
Yeah.
How much was it then? Maybe 150,000. Okay? But you can imagine how much land is going for in that area. If we are saying, okay, this is a bush, we can put our money here, what will have happened to us? That investment, to the glory of God, as you can't even compare it. So
okay, go ahead, please.
The idea is, please, when you want to buy land, do your due diligence. Look at the title documents. In Lagos, I will give you some title documents you can actually check out. If they say, okay, they want to sell property to you, the first question you must ask after you have seen the location is, what title document? And there's various things that can serve as title documents in Lagos. The most popular one is CFO. Okay? That's the most popular one. After getting the CFO, they are giving you the copy of it. Go to lands, go and verify, go and conduct a search. Is it genuine? Another one is what we call Lagos State Government Gazette. Lagos State Government Gazette. That is to say, this land has been released by government to this particular community because there was a global acquisition of all land in Lagos in the 90s. And out of that global acquisition, government has been releasing land to communities for development purposes and all the rest. So they will usually prepare a gazette signed by the governor to say, okay, this land has been released. If you have such a land, you can buy.
Okay.
There's also what we call land information. Land information is, okay, fine. Somebody has brought a land to you, you have the survey, it doesn't have gazette, it doesn't have CFO. Go to Surveyor General's office with that survey and apply for land information. If that land is free from government acquisition, the Surveyor General's office will tell you. And they will give you what is called land information certificate to show that that land is released and what is meant for, whether residential, whether commercial, it will stay so. We have the old land conveyance of those days. Okay, those are good titles. Those are the things you can verify. If you want to buy a land and they begin to tell you a decision in view, don't touch it. Man, because I've seen a lot of that.
What's excision?
Excision is, I've spoken about gazette.
Yes.
Okay. When that gazette comes out, and you can see the land covered by that gazette is what is called excise land. Okay. So when I say excision, I'm referring to a land covered by the gazette, which can be called an excise land. So, but I've heard of recent, excision in view, file number, so. And I've always told people, especially those who are abroad, don't throw away your money. There is no title like excision in view. Okay? There's no title like that. So it's either it has a decision covered with a gazette, has a CFO, land information, the whole conveyance, and all those things. If you don't see that, and they are saying under processing, especially under processing, I'm involved in this process. You may say execution under processing, it may never be granted, and you have put your money, and you can't get title on that property forever. So you be living in fear, even if you have built your house there. So it's always good to check. That's number one. Number two is if when you want to process your own title now in your name, when somebody has sold to you, you can continue to operate or run your own property under the name of the person who sold to you. When you want to process your own title and your root of title is bad, your root of title is from which you are buying. If your root of title is bad, you can't get your own title. So that's why you see people carrying paper around for years. Why would government approve? You have done what you are not supposed to do, and you are saying, government, come and do this. Yeah, you may go out for ratification for land that is not committed, but you pay more. You pay through your nose. So the right thing is just make sure you do it right from the beginning. Check and check very well. Don't just rely on paper. Go to the area where the land is, make your inquiry.
Well, in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we are having real estate masterclass. Because this is much more detailed. If you have questions or comments, call us on WhatsApp 009-234-5913, 009-191-3913, or 0809 222-0913. That's 2 in 3 places. We have comments. Message us 009-234-5913. Now, I still have with me Michael Oluremi Adebi. Now, you've talked about land. For some people, they don't want to buy land. They don't want to have problem with all this land. Wahala, they want to buy houses. Now, being in the real estate space, are houses mortgage accessible to majority of Nigerians as against the overseas? You know, when you go abroad, the houses you can pay little by little. What about us here?
Okay, we also have mortgage in Nigeria. But as it is in almost all cases, as it is in almost all cases,
Okay.
it's still not the kind of thing you get in the Western world abroad. The interest rates. The interest rates. Abroad, you can take mortgage for 2-point-something%, 3-point-something% interest. But here it's not so.
Where is it hard?
Even the federal government institutions, you may be talking about starting from 9%, and it's not common. The really one, maybe they are talking about 15%, 20-something%. So, my advice, honestly, to government, to financial institutions, is to make things easy for people. Mortgage is available in Nigeria. It's not as if it's not available. It's not as if it's difficult to come by. But they should look at the interest rates to make it more
Accessible.
Yeah, accessible, to make it more attractive to people. Because if you are paying mortgage at 20-something%, you'll be serving that bank the rest of your life. I mean, that's just the truth.
Hold your thought away. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
My name is Joshua. I'm calling from Goodwood.
Okay. Question or comment for our guest?
Good morning, to your guest in the studio.
Yes, okay.
I just joined in. I don't remember his name anymore.
His name is Michael Oluremi Adebi. He's the CEO of Real Estate, Mercy Land Real Estate. He's
Mr.
also a
Michael, good
lawyer.
morning and happy weekend to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, you have really started well. In fact, this morning is an expose
Yes, it is.
morning. You have just said something that don't wait to buy land. buy land and wait. In fact, what a word. It's a big word. In fact, it has opened our eyes, and not just me and so many people out there, I believe.
Okay.
And I want to also comment on you started well, and your guest or your host asked you about the Nigerian film case.
Yes.
And yes, let's talk about that.
Okay. Question quickly.
He has said your guest has really put these things simple in a very simpler form. Said contempt of court is, being rude to the judge.
Yeah. And
that is just what Inibere did. The very first day, this was a case of a libel case against the state governor. His client said that the state governor bribed a certain, I've forgotten the judge's name, 1 billion and bought cars for him and all of that.
Okay, so can you just give me...
Now, what happened in that case was that...
Hello? Okay. Hello, good morning. Please send your messages to WhatsApp 009-234-5913. If you have questions or comment, quickly call us and so that we can have that in brief. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
Can you hear me? Good morning.
I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much for this morning. Good morning to your guest in the studio.
Yes.
Sir Michael.
Yes, please.
Two things I want to ask. There are some properties that they will tell you it has a file number. That's number one. They can go and verify. Is there applicable to buy such? Then number two, what will be your advice for those that have bought without documents? What should they do at this point? Because already they bought those properties. So what would your advice be to them? What is the way out of it?
Thank you. Number one is asking that for people who have file numbers for their lands, what should they do about it? And for some people who they've already started carrying their flyers up and down, what should they do? Advice. I hope I got that correctly.
All right. If you have bought land with file number, execution file number, something. It's difficult to, because execution file number, something is not a title. It's not a property title. So I will advise you, if you have the survey, go to Surveyor General's office at Alausa and give them the survey to help you conduct land information. If through the land information you'll be able to know whether the land is committed or not. If it's not under excision, if it's not yet excised, and is not committed means has been earmarked for a particular development by government in the future. If it's free from those two, what you will have to go for is ratification. So, and you start the process of ratification. The ratification means the wrong that you have done, let the government come and ratify it for you. It's usually more expensive, but that's about the simplest way out. The other thing is that if you go there and they say the land is already committed, if you can get your money back from the person who has sold it to you, go and get your money back. Because if the land is committed, there is nothing you can do about it. You can't get a title on it. You cannot. Okay.
While reading your profile, we read that you're also the senior pastor in RCCG of God, Redeemed Christian Church of God. Now you're a pastor.
By the grace of God.
No, there's no contention. And a lawyer, and then you're also into properties. How do you juggle that round?
Honestly, my people have asked me this question.
Because to be a lawyer and to be a pastor on Sunday.
People have asked me this question over and over and over again. How do you manage? How do you cope? A family man, a lawyer, a realtor, a pastor, and my answer has always been the grace of God.
Okay.
It has always been the grace of God. Because ordinarily speaking, you look at a lawyer, they say, in common parlance,
they are liars.
They will say lawyers are liars. But I always tell people there are lawyers who are righteous by the grace of God and who are not liars. So when people first see you, you say, I'm a pastor, and then a lawyer, they will say, oh, a lying pastor. Okay? So, but that notwithstanding, God has greatly helped one to be able to juxtapose all these things and for them to be working well. The family is well by the grace of God. Law practice is good by the grace of God. Property business is good by the grace of God. And the Church of God is doing very, very well by the special grace of God. So all has been by the grace of God.
Yes, I understand the grace of God.
Yeah.
We can't contend with that.
Yeah.
When you are, and I want you to answer this in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When you are faced with your profession as being a lawyer, because they're all professions, right?
Yeah.
When you're faced with the profession of being a lawyer, and then people find out that you are a pastor, there's some slight little manipulation from you. Like, okay, please now see to it for us. What do you do? How do you create that balance?
Well, the balance is in all you do. One should put God first.
Okay.
Love should be the foundation for whatever you do. There are cases we have taken pro bono, which means
no money,
we just do it. There are things we have done without collecting money. There are people you look at and say, oh, how do I help this fellow? My personal principle is that wherever or whatever you are, God has placed you there to be of help to someone. Being a lawyer is to help people. Being a pastor is to help people. The two run together. Ministry of reconciliation. Okay? A lawyer should be able to reconcile. A pastor should be able to reconcile. And everything you do must be guided by the love of God. So if you have that in you, honestly, it's not every matter, every case that comes to you, every situation that comes to you, that think about money first. What you think first is, okay, how do I help this fellow? How do I help this fellow? So if that's at the background of your mind, doing things will be easy. And as you do that, you just discover that God will be blessing you from other places, other sources that you don't even think about.
Okay. Because my time is almost up, on behalf of the members of your church, they are asking me to wish you a happy birthday, which your birthday happens to be tomorrow.
Thank you so much, and I'm thanking all of them for remembering to wish me well on my birthday.
Okay, so a happy birthday, long life and prosperity.
Thank you.
And you sort of put the pastoral and the law together and calling it the Ministry of Reconciliation, because a lot of times people want to, is it that come back to God or want justice? And sometimes they say God is the God of justice. So I like the fact that you're able to blend that together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming and giving us the masterclass on real estate, because I would never have thought that. We have to go to Alausa to go and be looking for documents. Anyway, thank you so much, Enigokon, for making it happen. That's what I was looking for. Till we come your way again next week, Saturday, like we always say on Signals. Dream again, create opportunities for people. And because people will be people. And like the pastor said this morning, they said Ministry of Reconciliation. Please help. Have a wonderful week and God bless.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.